2012. Yeah. Do you know where you were when that light bulb went off?
In my kitchen.
In my kitchen. All right, there we go. That was not planned. And what was your name?
Laura.
Laura, thank you so much. So Laura knew it happened in August. So for all of us, I mean, you can write this down right now. Can you remember the day where you said, you know what? You stopped just being hungry and you said, you know what? I'm going to put the work in. Now for me, that day was June 18th, 2015. I left my college job in 2007 to go become the speaker. But you can see right now, it took me about 8 years to actually commit to the dream. So it was June 18th, 2015. Now, does anybody know what day of the week this was? Does anybody know where they were on June 18th, 2015? You know you were in your kitchen, right? Mm-hmm. Here's just going to sound kind of funny. My name is Kitchen, and I was at a Panera Bread company. It was a Thursday. I was in Phoenix, Arizona. Ooh, we got some Phoenix people here. Awesome. Then I can go even deeper. I was at Metro Center Mall. Ooh. Not a good part of town, everybody. But I was there to meet with my boss. I was working for an education company. We were selling curriculum and software to different schools and educator providers. And I was about to go on a sales trip to one of our territories. And I got called in for this meeting. Now, I was excited about this meeting because I was going through a training program. And this training program was going to be the day that I was going to hear about my promotion. So I'm going to go in for the promotion. Kitchen, Panera, we're cooking up some results. So my wife, got me all prepped and everything, so we went down to the Panera. I got there, saw my boss, and I'm like, hey, I'm excited to go. He's like, ready to go? I'm like, yeah, I want to talk to the clients, and what do you want to go do? He's like, hey, we'll talk about it at the table. I'm like, okay. Now, I've been going through this program, so we sit at the table, I'm asking questions, and then my boss goes, Frank, about that. Now, anytime you hear those words, about that, this side of the room got it. This side of the room, come on, play along with me. Usually you hear that thing says about that, it means something good's about to not happen. Now, many of you have your offices. Does anybody have that folder in your office that you just keep using over and over again because you're trying to save on budget? Just keep putting the same sticky tack on it. Well, one of those folders came out for me. I'm sitting at the table. My boss had bought me lunch, and all of a sudden this blue folder comes across the table. I open up the folder, and it says, my services are no longer needed. Now, I can make fun of it today, but the guy named Kitchen just got fired in a kitchen. Now, of course, I started to ask the questions like, what's going on? And they said, we're looking to go in a different direction. Now, at this point, I have to think about what to do. Now, I can let you know, I didn't eat the lunch. I don't even remember what I had for lunch that day. But my worry is, I've been talking about this big dream for 8 years. I've been working different jobs saying, you know what? I'm going to wait for the perfect time. Anybody ever said that one? You're going to wait for the perfect time? I'm going to wait for the perfect time to become a speaker. Because I was doing a little bit on the side. And the crazy part was, I used to book speakers. But I was like, you know what? I got to keep the lights on. But the thing that had me worried that day was, this is the 4th job I've lost now. Not due to poor performance, but because people decided to go in a different direction. And I have to go out to the parking lot, and I sit in the car, and I'm sitting in the car wondering what I'm going to do next. Because when I say what I'm going to do next is, my wife has not renewed her teaching contract. She's 6.5 months pregnant with our 2nd child. This Thursday, on that picture right there, is the weekend leading into Father's Day. So now I've been fired, I lost my job, and it's Father's Day weekend. I go and sit in the car, and I have to decide what to do. Now, I assume I know what the people in this room are going to say. My decision is I've got to go home. Do I tell my wife that I got fired, or do I make something up? Arizona, what do you think? What should I do? You can be honest. What are you thinking right now? I'm in this car. This is the 4th job I've lost. I moved across the country to be with this woman that I love. We've gotten married, and I've been talking about the speaking dream for 8 years, and I'm coming home saying, I got fired. You got to have a solution. So start thinking of solutions. So I'm in the car, and I'm thinking about solutions. Like, what should we do? Gentlemen in the room, what would you do? Let's be honest. Start looking. So don't go home yet. Just start looking for the job. Go back into Panera. Look, are they hiring? But things are going through my mind. What should I do? And anybody here, have you been in that position when you started your practice? Where something good hasn't happened and you've been telling the world that you're going to go have this great practice and the lives you're going to transform or go and do, but now you're like wondering, is it really going to happen? Some of you may be thinking that today, right? That's why you came to the conference. I decided that I needed to go home and tell my wife the truth. So I pull into the driveway, and when I pull into the driveway, she obviously knows something is up because I'm back early. And I have to let her know that I have been fired and have lost my job. Now, there are lots of tears. I'll be honest. There's like that like deep sobbing. And once I stop crying, we had to decide what to do. Because when I say what to do, obviously, where's our income, what's going to happen? And I had to tell her the story. My boss goes, well, we like you so much. Why are you firing me? You can either leave tomorrow or you can stay an extra week. Well, I'm not planning to get fired, so I said yes to the extra week. But we still have to decide what to do. Because when I say decide what to do, and this is where I'm going to have some audience participation again to ask what you would do, it's Father's Day weekend. And every Father's Day, my wife, her family lives in Albuquerque. We drive the 6 hours from Phoenix to Albuquerque to spend Father's Day with her dad. So now we have to decide, and I'd love your answers right now because this always has some fun. Should I drive to Albuquerque or should we call in sick? Anybody? Call in sick, all right. That's the left side of the room. Right side of the room. What are you thinking? Should we still go or should I call out sick?
Go.
Go. Ooh, I got stay and I got go. The go's won out. We decided, okay, we're going to get in the car and go. So it's a 6-hour drive, and it is a long drive. And as I'm driving, I'm starting to figure out, how did we get here? And I kept saying we, but it wasn't really we. It's like, how did I get here? Had that time of self-reflection, and I started to understand there were some barriers that were holding me back. So for all of you right now, anytime I work with groups and they have a big dream that they're working to produce, I don't ask, first off, what's the dream? I ask, what are your barriers? So right now, on your pads, on your piece of paper, I want you to write down, with your business, with your practice, with your professional results and dreams that you're trying to produce, what are some of the barriers that are holding you back? Let's go ahead and identify those. So you can type them up, you can write them down. I'll give you about 30 seconds here. You can write some more as we're going. But what are the barriers? Because when I'm in the car right now, I'm going, okay, I've been talking about this for 8 years, and it has not come to fruition. Something is going on. And some people, you can clap. Has anybody here ever blamed or complained about other people? Mm-hmm. Hasn't that become like the American way? We want to blame and complain, point the finger at somebody else. So I started going, like, it's the agent's fault. They didn't book work for me. And I started to think about all these other people. But then I just think about, wait, it's me. I wasn't taking the business classes. I wasn't making phone calls. I wasn't making emails. I told everybody I'm a speaker. We were in Lamaze class. People were like, what do you do? I was like, I'm a speaker. I wasn't speaking on stages, but I was telling people that. And I understood this. As we're driving in the car, the person who's most responsible for the results that you produce looks at you in the mirror every day. The reason I wasn't becoming this person who's starting a speaking and training business was the fact that I wasn't putting in the work. It was me. As much as I wanted to blame other people, it was me. So I had to look at my wife in the car and say, hey, you know what? The reason we're here is because of me. Nobody else. And then I asked her something special. I go, and we can say it, we're all adults. I was like, I've been half-assing this for 8 years. Can you give me 1 year of full commitment to make this happen? And she looked at me and she said yes. So now that I got her on my side, now we had the moment of truth. We've been driving for 6 hours. I've been thinking about all these different ideas. Why do we get here? How does it go? And now I'm pointing into my father-in-law's driveway. Now let me give you the full story. My father-in-law grew up not speaking English. Spanish was his first language, northern New Mexico, of Mexican heritage. My wife is his youngest daughter. He worked his way up from not knowing English to becoming an executive for the phone company. He's ex-military. He lives in New Mexico where they shoot the show Breaking Bad. There are places they can hide the body. Exactly, what body? And he can be like, no say. I mean, so he could just like, be like, I got to walk in his house. So should I tell him what happened? Or should we just hang out for a week and not say anything? So, because all that's going into my head is I'm going to walk in his house and go, hey, Poppy, happy Father's Day. Your third grandchild's on the way. I have no job, but I want to be a speaker. Because I'm trying to play this conversation through my head. What are we going to do? But we walk in and we share what's going on. Because he always asks, hey, what's going on? How's life going? Now, does anybody here, do you have somebody who's got your back? Just by a show of hands. Anybody got your back? Do you have any of these people who've got your back, but there's certain times when they've got your back, but they say something that you don't want to hear that scares you? Yeah, that's my wife, Kelly. Because while we're having a conversation with her dad asked the normal question. The normal question is, well, what are you going to do? What's your plan? And while I'm trying to think about this, my wife speaks up and goes, we have a plan. I look back at her, I was like, we do? And then she said some scary words that changed my life. She goes, take my dad with you. And when she says, take my dad with you, I had signed up to be at a speaker showcase that weekend in Albuquerque. And what she was asking me to do was, this man who's never seen me speak in public, was to take my father-in-law with me to the speaker showcase where everything is on the line to start up my business. Pretty scary. And to make it worse, any parents in the room? Any parents of teenagers in the room? Even scarier, right? The conference that I've signed up to do, a speaker showcase, is a high school student leadership conference. So national conference. I'm going to have a room full of about 200 high school students in there who will say, you suck in a heartbeat, and my father-in-law. No pressure at all. So I go to do the speech. And this is Saturday, and this is the speech. So we do the speech, and standing ovation. Kids, I'm feeling like a superstar. And while I'm doing the speech, help me out here. I'm just going to kind of recreate the moment. While I'm doing the speech, David Duran is in the back of the room. And what he did was, he's like pit boss. His arms are crossed like this during the entire speech. So for everybody in the room, just cross your arms, just give me like that evil look, just that mean look, serious look, yeah. So while I'm doing the speech, I got kids smiling, and I got David Duran with his arms crossed, not smiling. I see some people smiling at me. And I should be focused on the people in the room, but I'm just focused on him. I want his approval. I mean, this is the person where I called him up like 2 weeks ahead of time before I even proposed to his daughter, just to make sure I had, his permission, because I really look up to him. So during the speech, arms are crossed, arms are crossed. Then the speech is over. Take this picture, feeling like a superstar. I'm like, I'm going to be an amazing speaker. But I look in the back of the room, and his arms are still crossed. And then he's a marketing guy. He moves over to the exit door. And when I wanted to go back and ask him what he thought, he's at the door, and there's a line for him. He's actually doing post-event analysis of all the people in the room to ask them what they thought of my speech. So sheepishly, I'm taking pictures of people. I have to go get in line to talk to my father-in-law. So as I'm moving closer to up to talk to him at the receiving line, I finally get up to him and I go, hey, David, what did you think? And then when people say stuff and it goes in slow motion? His words were, let's go home and talk about it. I'm dead. He still has his arms crossed. And all of you can uncross your arms now, thank you. I'm like, I'm dead. Now, we're all adults here, but sometimes we act a little childish, right? Has anybody ever gotten to that point where you revert back to your childhood days when something bad happens? Anybody here, just let me know. When you were a kid, did you ever have a point where you knew you were in trouble? You didn't get back because the lights, came on, the street lights, that's the other thing. If the street lights are on, I'm not back at home, you're in trouble. Or you're hanging out with the wrong people. Right, you're laughing right now, you know it, Gene. See, it's just universal, even in Biloxi, right? It's like I was up in D.C. So I'm like, a lot of times we thought we were going to get in trouble. Did anybody think, oh, let me have some witnesses? Because if your friends or anybody that you know are around, they can't come down hard on you. So my thought was like, okay, I got to go back to this man's house. And he's like, let's talk about it. There's speakers here at this conference, and they don't want to sit in the hotel. So I went around the conference, started talking to speakers. And I go, hey, who would like to have a nice, home-cooked New Mexican meal? I found 2 sacrificial lambs. So the 3 of us went back to my father-in-law's house, and we sat in his backyard, in his gazebo, for the talk. Not that talk. I like to call this, in my life, the Spanish Inquisition. As me and 2 other professional speakers or aspiring speakers sit in this gazebo during a rainstorm, my father-in-law, with his arms crossed, so you go ahead and cross your arms, for about 2.5 hours proceeds to ask us every question about the speaking industry. And after 2.5 hours, the arms finally came uncrossed. And my father-in-law is a finger pointer. And he starts to point at me. And I'm like, uh-oh. And he goes, Frank, I love what I saw. This is what you're born to do. What can I do to help? Has anybody here ever been afraid to share that dream or passion with people because we fear about being judged by others? We fear that there's going to be a negative sense. I mean, at this point, when my father-in-law says, I've got your back, the speakers who are there with me say, hey, let's work together. My wife's like, hey, you can do this. I mean, at that point, I truly got hungry. Because before, sometimes we talk about being hungry, right? Because sometimes we're like, well, we're hungry, and we'll just take anything. But when we're hungry, we know exactly what we want and how to do it, correct? Once that happened, like, okay, I was like, I'm hungry, I'm ready to go. And when I was hungry, things changed. I mean, quite simply, that day, I flipped my mindset. Okay, that did not hit the way I wanted it to. Let me try that one again. My father-in-law's got my back. My wife's got my back. We've got another child on the way. I've got friends who are saying, hey, Frank, you can do this. I got the kids saying you're a rock star superhero. At that day, everybody, I flipped my mindset. Okay, because many of you know what this is. What is this? It's a spatula, right? What's it for? Okay, just making sure. Some people go discipline. I'm like, and that's when I start to get worried. But yeah, it's for flipping. But that's the, literal sense of a spatula. But I want you to think of a spatula in a literal sense, okay? With a spatula, let me find out just by a show of hands here. How many people here say that they are a really good cook? Raise their hand. All right. How many people say they're okay? How many people said, don't get me in a kitchen at all? All right, got some honest people. No matter where you are, when you get hungry for something, you will walk into a kitchen, whether you're a great cook or you say you can't cook. And have you ever seen that person, especially like on the barbecue, where they will grab the spatula? Some of you go, uh-oh. Some of you go, ooh, something good's about to happen. For all of us, when we run a business, the spatula is the literal sense of making the commitment. When you grab the spatula, you're committing to actually cooking up something. Whatever's in your head, in the recipe book, you're about to make it happen. So we have to ask ourselves, are we mentally committed to what we say we want to do? I mean, because all of you are excited to be here. Many of you got here through lots of flight delays. There's some people who are still traveling to get here right now, so we got to clap for them when they come in. But you're making the commitment because the thing is, no matter what you want in life, where your mind goes, your body follows. So until you make the commitment, so for me, I hadn't fully mentally committed to this business. I had talked about it, I had thought about it, but I hadn't committed. But once you commit to cooking something, then guess what? You got to get to work. A spatula is used to work and cook, right? We get the things off the edges and the sides, and we're cooking, we're working. But has anybody here ever worked on something, and as you're starting to work on it, it's not going the way that you want? So for me, 8 years, things weren't going the way I wanted, so I had to learn to flip things so I could cook it up the right way. So now I've got that part. But the third thing about the spatula, and this is something that we all have to learn about our businesses, and I learned this is why my business was not doing well. A spatula and cooks. Do cooks find more satisfaction in cooking for themselves or for others? Because as soon as you cook something good, what do you want to do? You want to share. You want to serve it up. A spatula is not used to serve yourself. It's used to serve others. The reason I was failing for so many years was I was focused on, ooh, someone's going to say Mr. Kitchen. Someone's going to be at the airport holding my name up. I'm going to be a rock star. And I wasn't focused on the people I was serving. Once I understood this, it's like, hey, I've got a child on the way. I've got a wife. I've got a family. I've got people looking up to me like, oh, wait, it's not just about me. It's about the people who I'm going to support, but also the people I get to speak with, the lives I get to transform and change. Understanding that, I jumped on the phone the next day and I started calling people like, I got fired. And like, man, you sound happy. Within a week of making phone calls and emails, making that full commitment and going, how can I best serve you and your team and your people? I booked out a week's worth of speaking. I could have done that before. I had the skills, but I just didn't have the will and the mindset to do it. But the problem was, and none of you will understand this, was when I worked for a lot of 9-to-5 employers. And what happened was I developed a 9-to-5 mindset. And I explained to everybody, our mind or our mindset is our mental cookbook. If we've got a cookbook with no recipes in it, what can we cook up? Nothing. I needed to fill my cookbook. I needed to hang out with the right people. I needed to hang out with other business owners and entrepreneurs. That's why we have this conference. Because how many people have the friends right now who work the 9-to-5 world? And as soon as something goes wrong in your business, what do they tell you? Quit. Go get a real job. I needed to be around other people who are saying, hey, Frank, there are going to be tough times. Here's how you make it through those tough times. I needed to hang out with other chefs. That's what I needed to do. So my question for you is, are you investing your time with other chefs? People who are working to cook up the same dream that you have. People who are looking to make fabulous results in their life. On your piece of paper right now, who are some of the chefs in your life? Who are some of the people that you look up to? I mean, because for many of you, there's probably some people that you see online, whether it be LinkedIn or social media, like, oh my God, they're so awesome. I want to be like them. Anybody say that one? She's like, no, people in Arizona are great. We don't need anybody. But we're one click away, everybody, from connecting with somebody that we look up to and admire. Right now, you have 72 chefs in this room. And if you don't make time to truly connect with these people the next 3 days, then you're not filling your cookbook with possibilities. Because even if you've never cooked something before, has anybody ever grabbed a cookbook and you start to open it up and you start looking, it's like, it's all possibilities. So for me, I understood to have possibilities, and the thing about I need to hang out with other chefs, so I joined my professional association. I joined the National Speakers Association. I'm like, oh, if I want to build a speaking and training business, I need to go hang out with people who have the same passion as me. And when I got to be with these people, I joined the group, then guess what? I started to learn about the business, and work started to come in. And more work came in. And more work came in. My performance got better. And it got so good, a few years later, I got a phone call from the association. And they go, Frank, and I know we got some people who are here from there, I think over on this side somewhere. They go, Frank, we'd like to invite you to Nashville, Tennessee. Woo, there we go. You were in the back earlier. Okay. That's fine. You can be in the middle. It's good. But I was being invited to Nashville, Tennessee, because within our organization, I know you've got some special designations here. We have a designation that's called Certified Speaking Professional. And Certified Speaking Professional means that we have longevity in our careers. So they look at your business to see what you've done for like last 5 to 10 years of your business. They look to see how many speeches that you've done, how much money that you've made. They talk to your clients to find client reviews. They have other speakers, CSP and Hall of Fame speakers, who review your work in order to earn these letters behind your name. And I'd gotten invited to Nashville, Tennessee to earn my CSP. Quite literally, I was being recognized as being one of the top professional speakers in the world. Since they created the designation, it's a worldwide designation, 1,000 people have actually earned it. And as of today, only 560 people still have it. I went from fired on Father's Day to being recognized as one of the top speakers in the world. Now, this was a special moment. But if you look at the screen right now, it says, anything is possible, but nothing is easy. Now, how many people right now have some tough challenges for their business that are facing you right now? Yeah, I mean, that's why we're all here, correct? The reason we put on this conference is we want to let you know, anything is possible, but nothing is easy. But to make it easier, for the next 3 days, we've got different presenters, speakers, who are here to teach you how to transform your big vision into reality. Because most speakers would stop here and say, hey, you know what? Give me all the attention. I'm just sharing my story with you. But I want all of you to have a similar story. So can I share with you, quote, the guy named Kitchen, can I share with you my recipe that allowed me to transform my business vision into reality. Can I share that with you today? Okay, so we're going to break this down. So this is where you can pull out your laptops are out already, or pad and paper, or guess what? You can take some pictures. Because I understand there's 3 learning styles in this room. We've got the old school people. You've got your notepad. Some of you grab